This video examines a significant legal case, Scully versus Holland, decided by the New Zealand Supreme Court in 2026. It serves as a post-mortem on conditional contracts, the consequences of unpaid work, and the strict realities within New Zealand civil litigation. Over 4 years, Anthony Scully provided extensive consultancy and proposals for Madeline Holland's infrastructure project in Papua New Guinea. Despite the effort, Scully received zero remuneration. The dispute escalated through years of litigation, ending when the Supreme Court dismissed his final appeal, leaving him without payment. The core of the dispute was whether a binding contract existed. Scully claimed an oral agreement was formed in 2012. However, his later requests for a formal contract weakened this position. Holland maintained that the written draft was explicitly conditional, relying on project funding that never materialized. The contract contained a condition precedent. This meant that legal obligations were dormant until specific funding from the Papua New Guinea government was secured. Because that funding failed, the obligations were never activated, proving that working before conditions are met carries total financial risk. The Supreme Court's role is to address matters of public or commercial importance, not to revisit private factual disputes. Since both the High Court and Court of Appeal determined that no oral contract existed, the Supreme Court refused to re-litigate these established facts, creating an impenetrable legal wall. The case highlights the danger of tactical errors. Scully attempted to raise statutory misrepresentation and quantum meruit claims only during the appellate stage. Modern procedural rules are strict. These claims were rejected because they should have been presented during the initial trial. Time is a critical factor in justice. The 6-year civil limitation clock began ticking when the funding condition clearly failed in 2017. By the time the quantum meruit claim was raised in the appellate courts, the limitation period had already expired, destroying the legal right to restitution. Choosing to litigate through multiple courts resulted in 9 lost years, massive costs, and no payout. A strategic pivot, such as pausing work earlier to pursue alternative dispute resolution, could have potentially led to a compromise settlement and preserved capital. Evaluating the New Zealand justice system, we see high marks for legality, integrity, and ethics. However, it prioritizes commercial certainty over empathy for the individual. The verdict is clear. The system is procedurally flawless, but inherently clinical. A 2026 shift in civil procedure reinforces this clinical approach. The system now emphasizes strict proportionality, evidence-first sequencing to minimize discovery, and active sanctions for delaying tactics, all designed to preserve precious judicial resources. While courthouse design often features warm, biophilic aesthetics to project inclusivity, the reality of the legal mechanism remains an unyielding bureaucracy. The Scully case proves that the system prioritizes clinical finality and strict adherence to technicalities over equitable fairness. To bulletproof your commercial operations, remember, avoid the quote, agreement to agree, never perform work in anticipation of funding that isn't secured in escrow, and if litigation is necessary, plead all your claims, including equitable ones, right from the start. Ultimately, the Supreme Court's ruling in Scully versus Holland is a harsh reality check. The New Zealand civil justice system is designed to protect contract clarity and the finality of litigation. In business, remember that hope is not a strategy.